Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 41 of the Casual Weebs podcast. An insane week. We're going to be talking about the big three anime of this week because three anime really kind of stood out and were just absolutely jaw-dropping amazing. DanDaDan absolutely crushed it. Just delivered. It always does. Every week. It was just so much to talk about. So good. We got Blue Box. Listen, bro, Taiki, I feel so bad for this guy. I'm so done for this guy. Bro, I'm Team Hina all the way. We got to get into that. We actually learned a lot this episode. That we had a lot of questions, kind of going into the future of this anime, kind of like how it's going to play out, kind of like how's it, I don't know, going to continue, right? Because there's some obstacles in the way, but a lot of that got cleared up this episode, so we can dive into that, talk about that. That seems like it's gonna be really good. But yeah, I feel bad for Taiki. I really do. Bro, just he can't win. I just feel so bad for him. Blue Lock. It was really, really good. We did a live reaction, and it just delivered. It was absolutely incredible. And, called a few things, before we turned it on and watched it, but, it still absolutely delivered. The animation was just... It is really delivering. It took the PNG lock, personally, and, it's just amazing. It's just the rest of the season is going to be so good, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Even after the U-20 game, but let's get right into DanDaDan first. I mean, what part you want to start with that? That was an awesome episode this week.
Definitely, there was a lot of stuff out of left field I wasn't really expecting. From the, I don't know which we want to call him, a Kappa creature, whatever, or alien, the alien dude.
Yeah, we got another sad backstory.
Another sad backstory, and like very wholesome, you know what I mean? It was really sweet what they did for him. That was really cool. And then I did not expect Gigi to just waltz in the very end of the episode.
Yeah, this episode was okay, let's talk about that alien dude, right? So we end up I completely surprised by that. I thought that they were gone, they were done, we beat them, okay, cool. But, he comes back, and we get this tragic backstory out of nowhere, and I'm like, yo, I feel for this guy. I feel like he was taken from his family, he's just trying to make a living for his kid who's sick. It's dude, I feel awful. I'm on this guy's side now. I thought he was, a weird piece of shit. And here we are.
Yeah.
Yo, help my boy out. Can I donate? Send the link. It was just crazy, the fact that they're kind of making us feel for it. That's kind of a common trend because of acrobatic Silky and stuff. I'm really surprised and really happy about, because I don't know, I feel like that's such a nice touch. But it was so funny because we ended up finding out that his kid needs blood transfusions pretty much. Because whenever pees or poops, he just bleeds out apparently. Such a weird,
such a ridiculous touch. And it wasn't every time he uses the bathroom. I forget how exactly they phrased it, but it was every time he excretes bodily waste, it's huh.
How is this, dude, I was about to message you. I'm how is this anime so crude and vulgar, but so fucking wholesome at the same time?
Dude, very well done. I feel like it's hard to do that because it's so outrageous. If you were to just tell people certain parts of it, it sounds so outrageous.
Yeah.
But it is really wholesome.
And the way they speak to each other too, because they those moments where they're eating dinner and stuff, and they're just ripping each other apart and roasting each other and just saying the most foul shit. I just can't help but be jealous at the same time. You know what I mean? What the fuck? All right, relax. It only does it when we record. I don't even know what it is. Okay, there we go. I don't know what it is, but I just feel jealous. That's such a great friend group. That's not even a friend group, that's family right there. You know what I mean? They do that so well. But it's so funny that, eventually they're oh hey, your blood is actually just milk. Here, we call it milk. We can make a deal with the dairy farmer down the street and get you a cow, and then there you go. You have a limited supply of milk, and your kid's saved. And they did that kind of iconic UFO picking up the cow out of the field kind of scene. That was really funny how they wrapped back to that. Because I didn't even think about that when I was oh yeah, you can just get a cow, and it's oh, that's such an iconic scene that they've just casually added in, and I feel that's such a beautiful touch to such a really cool storyline that they added.
Really, really sick. It's kind of plays to reality, and they come and abduct cows or whatever, but then they also balled out on the animation for that. The ship looked sick, he's lifting up this cow and they're going crazy. Then it hits hyperdrive or whatever and disappears. But that was really cool. Both cool visually and for them to kind of look out for this Kappa dude who was kind of beating the shit out of him a couple episodes ago. It was nice to see.
Yeah.
Very funny, but again, I think it touches on the aspect of this anime that we have no idea what's coming every week. Very left field.
I actually forgot about the little quote I have. You know, when they're at dinner and they're fighting and all that kind of stuff, and they're thinking of ideas like, how do you save this guy? Literally, like Ken, just like, hey man, if I gave you my wiener, would that save your son? And it's like, whoa,
Oh
whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
don't be giving away your dick, bro. Like I was just like, bro, like who writes this stuff? Like you kind of like we kind of like just like touched on that briefly, but it's like it kind of like if you explain this to somebody, it kind of sounds like a middle schooler wrote this. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, like what the fuck? Like where are they coming up with this stuff? But it's like so funny. I don't know like what it is. Maybe it's like a very immature fucking sense of humor. But like, hey, it's a very popular anime. Everyone's loving it, so I can't be the only one. But I was just like, dude, every
Sure.
time, man, they just say the most like left field stuff that just has me dying, and I just love it. It's just so good from that aspect.
It is really good and like keeps you on your toes and knowing like the author had tried a bunch of different stuff and it didn't work out and like was kind of struggling to make it. This is like what brings him massive success and fame. Just like I don't know,
Yeah,
everybody going after Ken's family jewels and his weenie. Like it's so
you can
good.
just tell is like one of those things where like he tried so hard on so many different projects it just didn't work and he just gave up. He's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna write the dumbest shit down. I'm gonna make an absolute joke of this, and then that joke ended up being like a really good manga, and now it's an anime and it's super popular, and you know it's gonna be up for anime of the year. It's gotta be. You know, it definitely was a top one.
100%.
Yeah, at least nominated. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's just like when you don't try and then you magically succeed. And I'm not saying he didn't try or this is it's awesome, but you can just definitely tell someone who just is like, you know what, screw it, just I'm just gonna throw it out there type of thing, because it really is like just out there stuff, really just like watch what I'm gonna do type of writing, and it's just so good.
I know his editor friend that like convinced him to keep at it. Once he got that first like DanDaDan script, he was like, "Yeah, this is it." Guy's missing his balls. Like, I knew you had it in you, buddy. That's a good friend right there.
It's like this is what
But
we
now
need.
we have this absolute masterpiece of an anime and manga. I'd like to read the manga just to see the
Mhm.
art too and like kind of like the anime only scenes. But yeah, it's just so funny. It's so good and like it's really hard to make you. I'm trying to think of like an anime that has kind of done this, but it's just not coming to mind right now. But like the aspect that the villains aren't really villains, it's just kind of like their situation or
There's a
whatever. Like
lot of
this,
animes that have done that. I mean, Naruto, the
I
whole
was that's literally
broken
the only one I
hero.
could think of. I'm like, yeah, try not to bring up Naruto because it's easy to compare everything to that. But
Yeah.
like, it makes you feel for these like villains or these characters until you get their backstory, and it's like, damn, I was really hating that guy, but now I feel for him, which I think is a really good testament to like the writing, as unserious as this show can be.
JJK was kind of like that, right? With some of the villains. I'm just trying to pick one that's also not, Naruto.
Yeah, like I don't know, just the circumstances and like kind of where people were coming from, like made them a villain to like the Jujutsu High kids, and then there's
Yeah.
just Skuna, who's like the fucking most miserable, meanest,
Yeah.
most selfish character of all
Because
time.
I mean, you had like the volcano dude. He's the one that comes to mind when he's just like trying to prove that he's not weak, and even like Gojo is like, oh, like you're weak and you're trash, but then Skuna right before kills him is just like, hey, like you're actually strong, and he like kind of like had that tear before he got obliterated, but you know what I
I
mean.
love
But like
how
I feel like some of the, like kind of the same thing there. I don't know, not for every villain, but
he wasn't wrong from where he was coming from. I
mhm.
just love that like he gets in like two or three fights, and each time he's like, I'm not weak, and he gets absolutely folded every time. That's the ultimate Jujutsu Kaisen line. Like, nah, I will win, and then well,
Yeah.
you don't.
Dude, absolutely insane though. Going back to then the new guy, I wasn't expecting that. Like from the opening, they make the fourth dude seem just like a weirdo. I don't know. He just seems like he's gonna be weird, and then he kind of shows up to the door and he just seems like so normal. You know what I mean? He just seems like so like casual. I don't know. He just kind of seems like, oh, he's just a dude. I don't know. I was expecting him to be like some like I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but like from the opening, it just seemed like he was going to be like a little out there. You know what I mean? A little different.
I feel like he'll probably fit into the like that group dynamic really
Hmm.
well and like yeah, just from stuff I've seen like he's got the funny faces and like kind of fits the vibe but
Yeah,
like I mean we only got like what maybe 10 seconds, 15
that
seconds,
is
like
true.
hardly an interaction. But it'll be cool cuz he's Momo's childhood friend so like maybe they have a
And
history
first
there.
crush, Momo's first
First love.
crush.
Yeah, Ken
Like,
was not loving that. Ken was not loving that.
and of course
She
it
drops that right at
happens.
the end.
Of course it happens like right when Momo has been very jealous over Ken. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And of
yeah,
course, then the
exactly.
childhood crush comes in, and Ken loses the love. He loses the attention. It's like, all right, Ken, like relax, bud. Like it's gonna be okay.
And he had that like really wholesome moment in the class, and he's like, even an awkward fellow like me, like once I'm a guy, I want you to think I'm cool and all that. It was like, oh, do love Ken. And then of course Momo's like so fucking goofy about it, like makes fun of him, but
Hey, dude. I
hopefully.
mean, he had a little bit of riz there. I saw him. I saw him. Put in some work. Like, yeah, she was getting, she was blushing a little bit. She's like, oh, this guy is pretty cool. This guy is pretty cool.
Ken's got some riz, dude. Absolutely.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
god.
hopefully it doesn't mess with that dynamic too much. I don't think it will, because I just don't assume Gigi to be kind of like a key player in as far as like that goes. I'm sure it'll kind of like do the same thing like with Ira and Ken.
I feel like
Create
it's
that
gonna
like
be like Blue
tension.
Box, the way that like he might not care, but he might do it to fuck with Ken. You know what I mean? He might do it to kind of push Ken's button, type like Haru and Taiki. You know what I mean? I feel
Yeah.
like it's gonna be something like that, and I feel like that's how you're gonna get like Ken's attention on Momo type thing is through jealousy of that. So I feel like yeah, how you're kind of saying how it's gonna play with Ken and Ira, that kind of situation. I feel like that's kind of how this square is gonna work.
Yeah, and you make it's not even a triangle, it's a square.
Yeah.
You make a really good point because the only time Ken ever like felt like romantic feelings for Momo is when that classmate brings up that rumor that she
Oh,
sleeps with people, and then he's like, "Oh, yo, like I like Momo. Like, don't talk about her that way." But then he
yo,
sees her as cute, so like I feel like Gigi, you're exactly right. Will kind of like force Ken to be a little more what's the word? Like intentional with his
yeah.
feelings if he wants to go there with Momo,
And I
if
don't
the
think,
story goes
and
there.
I don't think he's gonna care because you didn't see him kind of look behind Momo, see them, and just kind of go back to talk with her. It seemed like he wasn't affected that like, oh, there's some other dude there type of thing. But going back to that real quick, Ira, that was huge. We kind of make fun of Ira because she's kind of a dipshit. The way she's like, oh, I'm the chosen one. I'm
Still
God's
believes it.
favorite like angel, whatever this, like just so delusional. We love her though. But like, yo, her coming in clutch this episode and admitting that it was her, you know what I mean? When everyone's about to go and like kill Momo and have this whole riot of like, oh, let's take out Momo type stuff and this hate crowd, and she's just like, actually, guys, like, I'm the one that spread those rumors. That was huge. That was, I think, a major character development for Ira, and her kind of going all in on the friendship. You know what I mean? Where she's like, I'm kind of done with these fake friends and this popularity bullshit. Like, these guys seem really cool. I have a lot of fun with them. I want to be friends with them. I don't want them hitting Momo for something that she didn't do and kind of going on there. I think that was huge of her. I thought that took me completely by surprise.
She does have a good heart. Like even though yeah,
Yeah.
she's very very delusional. Also like when she does that, she like stands up for Momo and like does the right thing, and we're all
Mhm.
like, all right, way to go, Ira. And then she's like smashing her head against the desk. She's like, my popularity, my pure innocent image. And then I love how Momo comes up and she's like unhinged as always. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Just fits her character perfectly. But yeah, it was nice to see her kind of commit to that friendship, and I think yeah, she's all in at this point. That was really nice to see.
And like Momo coming on, like, hey man, I wouldn't do that. You can't afford to lose any more brain cells. Like, relax.
Yeah. Dude, their dynamic is easily just as good as like anybody else. Like always arguing, but like then looking out for each other.
The character interactions in this anime are just perfect. They really are. Like they're just absolute gold. Like that's the friendships that you want. Those are the relationships that you want. You know what I mean? Like that is just Ken is the luckiest dude ever. Like because he's met the greatest people that he's gonna have for life. You know what I mean? Like they are the best. So I think that that's one aspect that they did really well in this anime, and I just thought was cool. Like their character designs and interactions and personalities are perfect, and I feel like that's really hard to do.
Dude, you're so right. The fights at dinner is so funny. Like grandma goes off on the kappa for eating the good fatty tuna, and
Mm-hmm.
like Turbo Granny gets mad at Ken for like leaving something or taking food. It's so funny. But like yeah, that whole like dynamic is really it's really hard not to love them.
Yeah, it really is. Dude, it's just so enjoyable watching that anime again. That's an anime that just checks every box. The action, the animation, the interactions, the characters, it's funny. You know what I mean? It's just like the story. It is just it's a treat every single week. The fact that Google told us we're getting 24 episodes and was like, just kidding, blasphemy. blasphemy.
Terrible.
I'll be seeing you guys in court. That's some bullshit. All right,
I'll
that's.
also be there in July for season 2. I will be there as well.
Oh yeah, we'll be first in line. Like we're right there.
Hell yeah.
But anyways, you want to go into Blue Box or Blue Lock?
I'm gonna go Blue Lock because that was like the first thing I watched this week. I'm like, all right, gotta know what happens. Like, what's going on with these subs?
Yeah.
I want to say we touched on a few things, and I feel like we were right about a couple things. I don't know if we called an injury though. We were like, yeah, somebody could get hurt, not like somebody will get hurt. But yeah, we got.
The second I saw the title of the anime, like the episode, I was like, oh, Rio's going.
Oh
in.
yeah,
Rio's 100% going in. I think that he might score too. I don't know how because he's playing defense, but like I think that he might just sneak in at that last little, like one of those moments where like it's in the box and like they're trying so hard and someone makes a last minute like block and it kind of goes just out and right into Rio's lap as he comes in and just delivers an absolute snipe. Like I don't know how he's gonna do it, but Rio's got to score. You know what I mean?
that would be sick. Or even setting up Nagi would be cool. His moment was really sick at the end of the episode. But I was like, damn, I need another one.
When he copied Oliver, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. He's got the chameleon kind of like thing going for him.
Totally took me by surprise because they use the same like snake animation. I'm like, oh, that's badass, similar to Oliver. And then it's like copying move 99%. I'm like, oh, yo,
it is
very
Oliver. Yo,
yeah.
he dominated.
And even
with
Oliver
that.
gives him credit. He was like, oh, damn, like that's my move. It was like, ooh, really
I don't
sick
think he
by
gave him
Rio.
credit. I think he was kind of pissed. Like, yo, like that's what I'd do. Like, you can't do that. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, bro, I think he was a little salty. But like, well, what is this? You know, but he's like the number one guy defensively. You know, and some striker is able to imitate him. Like, that's kind of an fu. That's kind of like, hey, you're not special. Like, sit down, bud. After seeing it once too, like, nah.
Only did it once. That was really sick. There was
Yeah.
a lot of really cool shit in this episode. Like, I mean, I just knew Shido would make an impact. Dude's too good not to. But like, dude, the Dragon Drive, I was like, yo, that's badass. I thought that was really sick. And you're right, the animation, they were showing love to Shido this episode. That was really cool.
Absolutely. You know what annoyed the hell out of me though? Like when Cheeto went and scored that, like sick goal, absolutely filthy. But like the politician dude started cheering. I'm like, buddy, that's a Blue Lock score. Why don't you sit down and shut the fuck up? I hate to break it to you, but it's really 3-1 Blue Lock. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what the scoreboard
Yeah.
says. That is 3 Blue Lock shooters that have scored. So you can calm down with this U-20 bullshit. You know, your old kids club. Because technically U-20 has been pathetic and I've done nothing all game. Because it's literally been Blue Lock that's been scoring. Or the kid that joined the team to face Blue Lock. You know what I mean? Like, Sai is not a U-20 kind of player. You know what I mean? He thought you guys were way below him. And you kind of are way below him. He was ready to go pro.
Yeah.
And he came back just for Blue Lock.
The whole time I'm watching this episode, I'm like, Sai hasn't really like gone all out. Like he's trying to be the guy that like makes everyone else beat Blue Lock. He hasn't. I'm sure he could go in there and score more, be the focal point, but like it feels like he's forcing the other guys to like match his ability, and they haven't at all. So it kind of like, you know, they're missing passes or whatever. Like the cross to Shido gets blocked at first by, I forget what his name is. The guy with the hair in
Niko?
front of his eyes.
Niko. Yeah. Dude, Niko came in clutch. Niko
That
like,
was sick.
Like stood out. Like Niko coming in and like blocking that was because that was like such a nasty pass too. And then Niko comes out of nowhere and just interrupts it. And it's like, yo, don't sleep on Niko. Like these guys, like they're strikers. They're pissed that they gotta play defense, but man, are they putting up a fight. Like a nasty fight.
And then he has that quote too where he's like, you know, I was a little bit slighted or whatever he says. I was a little bit slighted that I didn't get picked as a forward, but I'm enjoying like flattening attackers as a defender. I'm like, ew, all right.
Yes! Like, bro's tasted blood, and I don't think he's gonna go back to being a striker. Like, he likes punishing them now, and that's like, dude, that's kind of nasty. That is a hard line, and that just shows, like, the ego of Blue Lock players, where it's like, you know what, I wasn't picked to score goals, and that sucks, that stings, but man, am I gonna put you shits in the dirt. I'm gonna make sure none of you can score. I'm gonna shut down the number one guy, you know what I mean? Like, that was... Dude, Niko came in clutch and looked so cool this episode. I'm glad he was able to kind of have his moment and kind of shine a bit.
Yeah, me too, because, like, I mean, I feel like a lot of it's kind of been focused on Isagi and Rin and Sai and even Nagi a little bit. So it was kind of cool to see cool to see them get some screen time and some love. And then also like Chigiri getting hurt. I thought that was interesting. Like
I don't think he got hurt.
he was just like out of shape. He was cramping up because he's out of shape. Yeah.
Bro, it only does it when we record the podcast. I hate it.
That's so annoying.
You're right.
But
So
yeah,
I don't
like
think it's hurt, but he got cramped up, and then like you kind of feel bad, but like at the same time, it's like, dude, like you got to just suck it up. Where he's like, oh, I wish I kept up with my training. It's like you didn't. So like, get in the groove now. But it's like, who knows too? If you want to play that what if game, like what if you came back and you broke out of the chains earlier, but then you got hurt because of that, because your knee wasn't necessarily kind of ready, or you had more time than to injure. You know what I mean? So it's like calm down. You found your wall, right? Now break through it. Get the sledgehammer, get to work, and then have that another awakening. You know what I mean? Get ready to come back and to show what you can do. Like that's kind of the great things of hitting those obstacles and hitting those walls. Now you know what you need to overcome to then go to the next level. Like it's really kind of a good thing. So the fact that he got so emotional and he's ready, it's like, dude, he's a blue lock player. He's not gonna go down without a fight. So we can just know that he's gonna come back, make a sick move, and he's gonna pop off. He's not done yet this game.
Yeah, and I like that line Ego said to him, like, "Oh, are you upset about getting substituted?" And he's like, "No, sir." And then he's like, "Well, you're upset because you're frustrated, like where you're at. That should tell you everything you need to know."
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I love Ego as a coach. Ego is like so good for that team.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, man. We should have gotten a movie instead of the Nagi movie based off of his career, more about him, because like, dude, he is sick. He is definitely amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then like just like how he leads the team, and like I feel like he always kind of says the right thing at the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is like a big hockey thing. I'm not really sure about soccer, but like never too high, never too low. Like when things are good and bad, like you just got to keep somewhat the same mentality. That's kind of how Ego feels, like with that chip on your shoulder at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy too, because like he has such faith in his players, where he's just like, they know what to do. Like they got this. Like he knows them so well. So like it's really cool to kind of see him have that faith, and then have that faith be rewarded. You know what I mean? Because they're going out and doing what he thinks they're capable of doing, and then just executing and just putting on one hell of a show.
Dude, they've been sick. I really felt like, damn, where's the second half of this episode? I need to see what happens. Like, it's just so
I
good.
need the second half of this game. You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna be after this too? Like, there's just so much. Like, I'm just so hyped. Like, they're delivering on a way that I didn't think that they would.
I was gonna say, compared to like 6 or 7 weeks ago, when it was like just kind of getting into the season, people were kind of digging into the animation, which to be fair, in certain aspects, but like now it's so good. We're like totally into the story. I'm like waiting for it every week. I gotta say, you were definitely right. Like once the U-20 game hits, it was like straight to the races.
Dude, like it has kept us on the edge of our seats, and it has been really good. And them stepping up and using all the resources for the animation, the U-20 game was a smart move. You know what I mean? They made the right call.
Well played. Yeah, well played. Because like you don't even think about whatever happened in the first couple episodes. You know what I mean? It was like training camp and getting ready, and now this is like the meat of it. So very good. I'm loving it, dude.
Dude, so am I. But is there anything else you want to say on that until we get into Blue Lock here? I mean, Blue Box here?
Who's scoring the next goal? Who do you got scoring the next goal?
Okay, so I think Rio's got to score one, but we still have our little bet where you think Bachiro's going to score one. I think the 1v1 guy is going to score one. So we got to see if one of those guys deliver as well. I wonder if it's going to like heat up from here. You know what I mean? If it's going to become like a very high scoring game from here, and like the dam broke. Now the water's just going to flow. You know what I mean? Because Shido's ramped up. Like he's already scoring one. He's ready to go. It's tied 2-2. I feel like the foreshadowing of constantly needing to score 5 to win at the Blue Lock facilities is kind of maybe how it's going to go here. This could be like a 5-4 game. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like we got plenty of goals coming in. So I don't know. Low key, if I had to be a betting man here, I actually think the next goal is going to be that shithead from the U-20 team. I feel like that striker is going to put them over the top.
Yeah, dude, Sai keeps making fun of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because he was literally in position, but he got blocked.
And they keep saying they're using him like Isagi to Rin, and like how he's bait. But no, Isagi's there to kind of like score when Rin can. You know what I mean? That's why Ego picked him. It's like you're able to complement him well, but you're able to surpass and score on your own if need be. And I feel like they put way too much emphasis over this kid not being good. and this kid not being able to live up to the hype, or he's not a real striker, and the fact that they're still keeping him in the game, I feel like he's going to be that little missing piece where like, oh, it's like, oh, Sai has it, he's going to pass Shido, but it's going to go over him to that striker, and then he's going to score. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
That's a really good guess.
Who do you think it's going to be?
I'm just gonna go Isagi.
You really? You think he's going to break the tie?
I feel like it would be a little anticlimactic for him to put them up 3-2 instead of like a game winner, or like, you know, if they were down at the end and he ties it type deal.
Yeah, I think they have to be down. I feel like it's in order to keep the excitement, you got to have them down in the play, which is why I think the other team's going to score, the U-20 team. And that's why I think it's going to be that striker.
That's a good point. Or yeah. Because I don't think Blue Lock's going to take the lead again, because they're kind of under pressure.
Yeah, they're going to, like, tie it and then get the winner, if they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who do you think?
I'm trying to think. I kind of want to say Oliver Aiku, because he's the captain, but, like, what would a defenseman being up there? Like, they can score, but, like, if I haven't seen any corners or anything like that. Like, it's kind of hard to say that he would be the guy, but I don't know. I don't want to say Sai. I feel like that's the easy pick. But he might score again. I mean, let's be real.
All right, you're going to say Sai then? That's not the easy pick, because he's been trying to pick everybody but himself. You know what I mean?
This whole episode, he was, I don't want to say forcing it, because he's making some sick plays, but, like, he's forcing other people to take the shots instead of just doing it himself.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, all right, you're going to say Sai. I'm going to say the other kid. Like, we got this. But anyways, let's go into some blue box here. God, what an episode for Taiki. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I think it's kind of bullshit, and I think he kind of got screwed over this episode. I mean, first of all, you know what I mean? Like, Shinatsu, you know, told him that they need some space. They need to put a little distance between them. But I'm like, bro, like, Taiki didn't even want to go with you to the store. Like, Taiki indirectly has been putting space between you guys the entire time, and you're kind of forcing it. You know what I mean? You're kind of like, his dad's like, hey, Taiki, like, you go with her. And he's like, all right, I'll just go alone. She's like, come on, Taiki, like, let's go. And then she's like, by the way, stay away from me. And it's like,
don't touch me.
Like,
I'd rather get run over by that car.
You know what I mean? Like she's dragging him out with her, and then he's like, yeah, like, I think we should keep distance between us. Like, what? Like, that's so like he's been trying to, but he's like awkward. But then like you're dragging him along, and then you're like, yeah, by the way, like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I can kind of see where this is going. Let's not. And it's like, bro, that's such like a spit in the face of Taiki. Like, that's so disrespectful for a man who's been respectful. You know what I mean? He's been like cautious of her feelings the entire time.
Yeah, and he's very like sensitive to like the situation and her feelings versus how he feels, and like he's done a really good job of like keeping it professional, or like whatever you want to call it, like amicable at home for her sake. This episode kind of made me realize she isn't like being honest with herself and her feelings towards Taiki, or like, I mean, they're high school kids, you know what I mean? I'm trying not to give them like too much criticism here, because, you know, but like if she was like, yeah, maybe not now with nationals or something, but like there's obviously something there, right? Yeah. It's not like she doesn't feel anything. And they kind of allude to that with Haru in the pool. He's like, she wanted distance, like she would keep it, or she would avoid you or not talk to you and stuff like that. Like, she is friendly with you for a reason. That's not to say that, you know, she's head over heels for him, but at the same time, I felt like it was like,
well, he kind of messed it up because he made it weird, because he kept trying to bring it up and he kept getting really awkward about it, and like kind of like grabbing her hand in like that pool room or something. I was like, bro, like, you're just not looking good. Just ignore the topic. You know what I mean? Like he kept like being very awkward about it. Maybe like that's why she did it. But I was like she's initiating everything. She's the one who's like going out of her way to talk to him. Like whenever he sees her, he kind of just goes to his room. You know, she's the one who's like, oh, let's hang out. Like, oh, let's go to the store. Like, let's go do this. And then she's like, oh, by the way, like, yeah, no. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a more like nicer way to do that, and that's just stop initiating. You know what I mean? Instead of just being like, hey, we should stay away. You know?
Yeah, especially after all that his family has done to accommodate her, you know, dreams and ambitions and stuff. And I think she's just getting it wrong, to put it bluntly. I think a really big part of that episode was a conversation between her and her dad about, like, you know, I can't remember the parents' name, but Taiki's mom and dad, and kind of like how they work together, and like, you know, she makes all the decisions. And in a way, I feel like Chinatsu feels like, which is like very normal, I feel like, you know what I mean? I feel like I'd be better in that situation as well. I'll get the noodles. I'll remember to buy the noodle.
Yeah, yeah, and then still forget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many other things. You know what I mean? I don't remember so much.
Right. I think that was like kind of important though, because I want to say she took it like, it's a lot of responsibility and a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice, and any relationship is not just romantic, but they're also like older and married. Like, the mom says these 2 years are way more important for Chinatsu and her growth than for us. You know what I mean? And I think that was kind of important because like she's got to figure her feelings out and what she wants, and in a way you kind of can do both, but it's that sacrifice of like, where are you going to make time with badminton and basketball if you guys are going to see each other? And I think she kind of has to face that a little bit more, because Taiki definitely has. We haven't gotten that so much with Hina, but I think even Hina has kind of like admitted to herself like she has feelings to a certain degree.
Well, I mean, I think she made the right move. Chinatsu did the right thing, but it's the way that she did it. You know what I mean? You don't have to put have distance. You know what I mean? Because she's starting to realize that oh, she likes him and he likes her, but she's like, oh, given the situation, it's not the best idea. It could get really awkward, and then what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? But again, when you initiate everything, the simple thing to do is just stop initiating stuff. Stop kind of talking to him as much, or being like, oh, let's go do this. You know what I mean? Instead of just being like, hey, let's go out so I can tell you that let's go to the store. I mean, so we can then tell you oh, hey, we should stay away from each other a little bit. It's damn, that kind of just you can't bros already had a couple of losses. You know what I mean? You're just kind of kicking him when he's down. He's still hurting from not going to nationals. That's rough.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It's more the way she went about
Yeah.
it. It's kind of tough. Again, they're like high school kids, so you're not going to be super vocal about your feelings and articulate and all that stuff. But I don't know. I think at some point she'll come to grips with the fact that either Taiki's talking to somebody or spending more time with Hina. If he makes it a point to see less of her outside of school and all that,
Which
I think
he kind
she
of
would
is. He dunked under the window, which was kind of rough.
They're like, "Why are you hiding?" He's like, "Oh, I'm not hiding. I just found some pencil lead on the floor." I thought that was so funny.
Bro, well, let's get to the important part, right? The important part is that it kind of clarified what's kind of going up. So, dude, how can you continue the series, right? When she's about to go to nationals and this all over, and you know what I mean? We're at the end of the year, you know what I mean? If this is the only year, so I kind of knew this from that one other anime, but it was yeah, nationals don't work the way that they do for us. They're kind of at the beginning of the year, because in Japan they don't have a real summer break like we do. It's not 3 months, right? It's a couple of weeks.
True.
They kind of have a Christmas break, but during the summer type thing, right? It's more very continuous. So even though the year's over, nationals doesn't start till next year. She's gonna play another year, but then she just won't be able to go to nationals again. So instead of it being 1 year like we thought, it's really 2 years. So that's how we have more time, right? That's why we have a lot more time, and things can progress more. And then it gets kind of complicated, because even though she goes to nationals and she's kind of done, she kind of has that filler basketball season where she can play, but you're not going to go to nationals no matter how good or bad the team does. Well, then Taiki's going to be competing for nationals, and he can make it to nationals. So that's where we're going to have that, that's how we're going to have it continuous, where it's going to be all right, she's going to be there for 2 years, not one. But then also it's going to add complications, because while she's kind of in her last year where she's kind of just chilling, well, Taiki's going to be aiming for nationals, and then, she doesn't want to get in his way. So that kind of cleared up, the timeline for us of what's going to be happening and how the series, I should say, is going to progress.
Really, really good point. I never even thought of that because I have 2 brain cells, but you're exactly right. She has 2 years, but not 2 full years in nationals next year. And
Yeah.
I think, I would say my prediction deep down is that with Haru kind of being a third year, it'll set up Taiki to be the guy. He's going to be go to nationals. He'll be the best badminton player. And there'll be more focus and attention on Taiki rather than Haru and Chinatsu and some of the second years this year. So Taiki will kind of be the man, and I think the more that starts to become the deal, it'll be interesting to see how Chinatsu reacts and what happens in between then also. You know what I mean? Does she do good at nationals? Does she not? Does their team do any good? I feel like a lot of that would play into her decision, but
So one,
it's
I
tough
think
to
she
say.
wins nationals, but two, we kind of brought up like very stereotypical stuff for animes, like the old sick scene. You know what I mean? Oh, someone got sick and you have to take care of them. But then you brought up like the pool or the beach day type thing, and now we're on summer
Yeah.
break, and Chinatsu just drew that line. So I feel like now we're gonna see more Taiki and Hina, you know, and if they're at the
Yes.
beach, at the pool, doing like summer shit like festivals,
Well, they got that study
Chinatsu's gonna
break
get
coming up.
yeah, but
I,
like
I'm putting a fake $100 down. She's gonna see them with that like group of
yup.
students and Hina and super awesome wingman homie friend that I forget his name. That's
But
terrible.
he's a
With the
legend. We love
glasses.
him.
Guy's a fucking legend now. Forget your name, but you're a legend.
No,
But
his
she'll see
name's
all them
Goat,
like
bro. That's it.
goat, just the goat, yeah, formerly known as.
Yeah.
She'll see them at the library or like passing by having fun and like even there's like a very quick scene with Hina. Like he's like, oh, she kind of has like been keeping distance for us, but it's for the better. It's not good that we're getting too close. So like it's all good. And like
And
he kind of
Hina's
laughs it
like,
off.
sweet, I can
But
move in.
she didn't show it on her face, but that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, she's like, this is my time to shine.
Yup.
But I think with that being said, like Taiki's done a really, really good job, and I don't know if I've really given him credit for that because I kind of make fun of him a little bit, but like he has done a really good job of like rolling with the punches, and he's been taking a lot of
Oh
L's
no, bro,
lately.
he's have a drinking problem. Like with the way he just smothers his emotions, bro. He's 100%. The second
Dude,
he turns 21, he's
if it
gonna
keeps
develop.
going this way,
Yeah,
if it keeps going this way, absolutely.
the way
But yeah,
bro
like
just
he's
smothers his feelings, because like that's a lot of shit to like deal with when you think about it. Like he worked really hard for nationals, like
oh then
really fucking hard. And round one knockout, like that's got to be devastating. And then everything with
like all
Chanatsu,
a
like
couple weeks.
yeah,
Like it happened so fast. And even
hmm
Haryu's like, don't get too depressed about it because you got to keep working on your game.
yeah.
So I feel like he's trying to lock in. I don't know if he's quite there yet emotionally, but he's trying his best. And he's very good at that compared to maybe some of the others. Like I maybe don't give him enough credit as a character, but Taiki's pretty strong, all things considered,
I mean, we
even though
kind of
he's
had
been on the
that
streak.
one scene where he had his shirt off or something, and it's like you can see that he's like chiseled, he's like Jack. Obviously, he put in that work, and like he did a lot. So I think that when this dust kind of settles, him and Hina's friendship is like back because she's gonna get in the picture more, to make Shinatsu jealous and stuff. That's what I think with like festivals and stuff. That's really what's gonna hit hard and hit home. That's what Shinatsu's gonna get jealous and kind of rethink things. I feel like when he gets his friendship back and he kind of goes back to normal and he gets back into the grind, that's when our boy is going to kind of get back in the rhythm, and he's not going to be sitting there dwelling on just constant reminders that things with at home are weird, things, with Batman are weird because he didn't, like, he failed, you know what I mean? I feel like his, redemption arc is on its way. You know what I mean? He's gonna, he's got summer break. He's gonna relax. He's gonna do a bunch of fun stuff, like hang out with the boys, get back to work, and things are gonna go well. But of course, whenever that happens, guys, the girls always come back. Okay, they don't like to see us win. You know what I mean?
Always.
So this is when Shinatsu's gonna try to like make her move or something. She's gonna get a little jealous, and it's gonna throw our boy into a fucking blender. Because like emotionally, I don't think he knows how to deal with his shit. Like he is kind of just smothering that shit. Like I'm not joking. He's gonna have an alcohol problem, bro. Like.
Dude, you're so right though. Like she's definitely gonna be like, "Oh, now I suddenly have feelings for you," right? As he's like truly locked in and like
Yeah.
in his building arc, which is extremely unfair for Taiki. Chinatsu, that's not being a good friend, but I guarantee you she does it because she's so unsure.
Here's the thing I want to say because like you brought it up. It's like, oh, you don't give him too much shit, and like we're going way too into like psychoanalyze this for like again a high school romance. Literally,
Yeah, dude.
365 days to the wedding. That's like an adult like romance anime, right? Like they're adults, they're working, shit like that. The same thing happened this week with them. Where like she knows her feelings and she's like, oh, that makes me scared. I don't really like this, but if work's gonna be weird. And she did the same fucking shit. And I'm like, and guys don't know how to read our emotions. Like we don't know our like, nah, don't come at me with that one. Guys are not
True that.
we're not the full problem. We are a lot of the problem, but we're not the entire problem. You know what I mean?
50-50. It's 50-50.
Exactly.
I've been on both sides of it too. Like, I don't remember what a knucklehead I was as like a teenager, so it's like can't be too hard on Taiki. but he's also handled stuff a lot better
But
than I would.
that's the point I'm making, though, is that like even with that anime, it's like an adult romance. You see that shit everywhere. It's not just high schoolers, so they make that mistake. No, I feel like everyone does. Because the second you get feelings, you become stupid. Like, let's just be honest.
No, you're so right,
All
dude.
common sense just goes out the fucking window. It's just.
Who am I, dude? You're so right, though. I'm like psychoanalyzing Taiki. It's like, bro, the guy's like he's like 15-year-old, like first year high schooler. Like, give him a break here.
Is it your
I'm rooting for you,
year?
Taiki. It's 10th grade, right? I thought they were like their first year is 10th grade because as a senior you wouldn't go to nationals on that schedule like the following year.
Oh yeah,
right?
they do 3 years, right, instead of 4.
Yeah, and I don't think they have like college sports like we do. I've like never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of you think we know because we watch enough anime, but we don't.
Between anime and sports, the only two things I really watched. I think I would have heard of I mean, they have like Tokyo University, but they don't have like a wicked soccer team or something.
Yeah. But like I don't know, that's the point I was making though, is that like I feel like you kind of see that stuff everywhere. So like the mistakes they're making are like very common and very like relatable. You know what I mean? Because we've all kind of been there where we don't want to admit like we know those feelings. You know, I mean, Shinatsu doesn't like not know. She knows, but it's like a very like how do you deal with that? Because like we even didn't talk about this. Her talking with her friend and being like, "Oh yeah, like you're with your family. Like if only there was a cute guy there." You know what I mean? And then dating would be so easy. And she's like, "Well, actually, it's not that easy." She's like, "What?" She's like, "Nothing. Never mind." You know what I mean? Like she even kind of can tell. Like she knows. You know what I mean? Like she knows the feelings, but like it's not as cut and dry. Because like again, yeah, what if things get weird, which they easily could? Then you're in this bad situation, but you still have another year to live with them. You know what I mean? You still have nationals to go to. You still have a whole lot ahead. You know.
Very true. And like, yeah, like you said, most importantly, you don't want to like ruin the home dynamic because like you can still be like friendly or like amicable without fucking up the home dynamic, which I think they're both sensitive to. But at the same time, I think this summer is going to be these next couple episodes will really like put her in the spotlight and kind of like her feelings and stuff because Taiki will lock in because Hina said he has badminton practice like almost every day, right? So they'll be in the gym. In the gym, I think.
Well, the thing that I'm kind of interested in, too, is that we're getting the 24, 25 episodes for Season 1. How dragged out is this going to be? Because, like...
Very true.
We could have her going to Nationals be, like, kind of at the end of the season. So, like, how dragged out and how action-packed is going to be Summer Break?
Yeah, versus Nationals, like, how much are we going to get on each side of that? Hopefully Summer Break's not too long, maybe 2 episodes, get Taiki...
I mean,
back on his feet.
We're not even like at episode 12 here. We're not even halfway through the season. You got to think like, if we get like a double season here, like is it gonna be a 1-season anime? I don't think so. So you know what I mean? I feel like season 2 might be like him going to nationals type of thing, like him in the second year, her in her third. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like it's gotta be dragged out. I feel like the summer break has to be like pretty long and pretty eventful. To say the least.
It's a really good point.
Maybe I never really thought of that. My Dress Up Darling type of summer break. I mean, that was dragged out like 6 episodes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have no like frame of reference for once from the manga. I haven't spoiled something, thankfully. So like, I don't know how long these arcs are, but you're probably right. It'll be slower, especially because we've moved at a very quick pace. I think.
Oh my god, yeah! It feels like it's been so fast.
Is that episode 10? I believe.
I think so. I mean, it's on Netflix. I'm a Crunchyroll on my phone, but not Netflix.
Yeah. But like either way, we'll just say 9-10 weeks. Like it's been a very quick pace, so you're probably right. You could slow things down a bit and go in that direction.
Yeah, and who knows? You also can be right too, where it could be like 2 episodes, because typically, even though you have an extended season, where it's like a double season, you still typically have that like season finale type of 12th episode. You still have that. It doesn't feel just one continuous. It's, you typically end an arc on that 12th episode. So I think it was definitely episode 10. So we have 2 episodes until that midway point. Something's going to happen, and then we're going to get on to the second part of the arc, which could definitely be her going to finals, nationals, I mean. And kind of like the next school year or something, or I don't know, but it's gonna be good. Now we have a frame of reference of like the timeline here. Now it makes a little bit more sense. So I feel like that was really nice to have that cleared up. And yeah, what a packed episode. I just feel bad for Taiki, man. That's just rough.
He'll be all right, but yeah, I feel you. That was kind of like a low blow, especially given the timing of everything. But He'll be good. I'm really excited for these next couple weeks to see how, like you said, the second half of this double season it starts to shape up, or like what gear we're going in.
Yeah. I mean, Hina definitely won this episode. She finds out that, Chinatsu and him are like keeping some distance. She's like, it's summer break. She got the study group together, and she was happy about that. She's like, what? So you just caught my homework? She's like, oh no, no.
Dude, never.
What do I need?
Yeah. Dude, it's her time to shine. Let's go, Hina.
Yeah, at least someone's gonna be winning, bro. But yeah, I've been loving Blue Box this season. I feel like they've done a really good job, and I feel like with a lot of romance animes, it can get very annoying. This one hasn't yet. You know what I mean? Because you need to have that back and forth. You can't just have it go up all the time. You need to have the ups and downs. So the fact that we're having like a good pace here, it seems nice. They haven't fucked it up, which happens
totally
a lot.
Or like you have a dynamic like Rent a Girlfriend where the MC is just like basically obsessed with this one character, and like after a while like it invalidates all the other girls because he doesn't have feelings for her, and then it's just about her being like,
I don't know. They kind of did that with him and Hina. Like Hina's not winning, sadly.
No, she's probably not.
That's why I don't want her to try during summer break. You know what I mean?
Or she'll get to a point where like they have a moment and then it's like, oh well, we're friends. I don't want to ruin this. She knows he likes Chinatsu. Like maybe she'll hold off, but there's gonna be some of that summer magic. I'm calling it.
Yeah, but that's what it's not gonna work.
Don't hurt yourself, Hina.
You know what I mean?
Don't hurt yourself.
It's not gonna work. You just feel bad. Dude, it's just a death trap, and it's just like, don't do it. It's like you're about to watch a car accident. You're just like bracing. You're like, oh no. Like, please swerve last minute, bro.
So true, dude. We can see it coming. We know it's coming.
Yeah, who knows though? Maybe really Hina is main girl. You know what I mean? Maybe that'd be an insane twist. That would be an insane twist.
Rhythmic gymnastics girl steals the MC.
Finally, childhood best friend wins. I mean, like, let's go.
Maybe that's why it's so popular. It got that crazy spin to it.
Yeah, here we are again in our land of delusion, just making shit. Yeah. This is what happened with Kaiju 8.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, some of our predictions, they're either, like, spot on and perfect, or we're, like, rewriting our own canon.
Yeah. Bro, I love that. Just completely overcomplicated, just such a simple answer. It was like, you know what? It was fun.
Dude, all I can think of is just like the crazy One Piece headcanons I've read. It's like, I'm that guy now. It's affected me, the brain rot.
Bro, I absolutely love that. Listen, anime has just been bodying. It's just been so good, so amazing. These three just have been excelling all season long, and this week was no exception. Sadly, ReZero's on hiatus until February, but you know what? We still have plenty to keep us busy, to keep us entertained, and to keep us obsessed. Keep us indoors. That's what we gotta be. But anyways, yeah. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Is there anything else you wanna add before we're done here?
Nah, just enjoy these last couple episodes. Season's coming to a close. Get excited and have an excellent week.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoy, and peace.